I am live. Hello, everyone. It's Hutchtee here, and I'm joined with Matt. And if you was watching yesterday's, well, the start of the stream, Matt was running Blade 2.
Hello.
Yeah, just waiting for the game to load up. There's a running meme with this game called Lost Lodacy, because it had a very long-standing issue with load screens, but I think out of the entire Uncharted community, I'm the only one that seems to have decent load screens. I do have a bit of a theory on that, but I'll probably explain a bit more when the run has started. So I'm just going to skip the cinematic. Once the cinematic has been skipped, you can start the timer. So I'll do that in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
So the start of this is pretty bog standard. We've got a character in here that has actually been named for some reason, even though she spends the whole part of about 2-3 minutes in the entire game. And her name is Minu.
We knew you would say that.
Don't get me wrong.
You knew?
I knew.
You knew? She knew? Chloe knew? Everyone knew. It's you might as well call this a tutorial. You literally just walk through this market. It's nothing fancy. You potentially have a little Ganesh statue being stolen from Chloe. So this game makes the use more of the movement as opposed to skips, but there is one particular chapter that has about 3 skips in it all in all, which look pretty cool. We spend a lot of the time skipping cinematics and seeing a few load screens, unfortunately, but thankfully load screens are a non-issue for me now. So yeah, so the main movement tech in this game is jump rolling. Spamming jump roll very, very quickly helps. Unfortunately, the first, I'd say,
just the prologue on this chapter.
You can't jump or anything like that until you get into. I think it is, just before chapter 2.
Well, you can, but there's the stealth section. You can just run. You don't have to jump more, because if you're in combat, you run faster.
Yeah. Also, thanks for the luck, guys. But, yeah, the game's actually become quite popular recently. There's a few of us that have been running it. A few changes to the, I suppose, the tech in this game and the skips. There's a skip coming up later on, chapter 5. There's 2 actually. One can be a bit of a nightmare. The other one is not so bad. We found 2 alternative ways of doing that, but I'll explain that more when we get there. But yeah, the first 2 chapters are a little bit meh. We spend a good portion of it restarting checkpoints at the right places, skipping cutscenes like this one. So if we restart checkpoint, it actually puts us a little bit further ahead, which was found recently by Toxic TT, one of the other Lost Legacy runners. So these guys are a bit weird. Sometimes, despite swinging at them, they will hit you. I'm not sure why that is. I think it's the angle. So one of the...
This guy's also blind.
Yeah, he can't see you for anything. You literally just walk straight past him in front of his eyes. But yeah, so one of the recurring parts of this game is the lock-in, the pick lock-in. It's a horrible feature. I don't think it works particularly well. It's simple but awkward at the same time. So twisting the left stick, moving it into the correct position, you can feel the controller vibrate in your hand, which is an indication that you're moving into the right point. You also get a little arrow pointer telling you that you're close. if you move the stick too fast, you don't get the chance to feel the vibrate because it's not strong enough, so controlled movement seems to help. Oh. Yeah, here for some reason it's a little bit timed. You can't jump over that part of the wall until the guard has said the word tyrants. So we're not actually too far from chapter 2 now. And then we can finally we can actually move a little bit quicker. So this bit that's coming up, we'll end up in a fight with guards. So there is a slightly quicker way of dealing with them. So at the start here we hit triangle, which does like a, well, I suppose it retaliates against that guard. If we attack this guard, he's the one that dies the quickest, and then you just stand there and wait for the guards to grab you like that, because you get forced into a scene with Nadine, who's the second main character in this game. So what we do here, if we just run towards the enemy, Nadine can kill them in one hit. Rather than standing there trying to fight them, we let Nadine do the job for us. So yeah, jump rolling has already started. Ideally here we want to try to move as smooth as possible. The camera can sometimes... The camera sometimes moves in weird positions and it makes the jumps awkward. You can't see what you're doing. Yeah, and that's prime example. So what I was meant to do there was actually jump on the signpost straight away. It's a shame that that's happened, but it's a small loss. You can accidentally jump off to the left, which kills you.
Come on, this way.
Also, on these things, you're meant to slide across them very slowly, but if you hang off the ledge, you can jump.
Yeah.
Dead.
We've got a little stealth bit here, and when I say little, it is little, because you literally just come here, break his neck, dead. If you attack him from the side, the kill animation is longer, so we tend to go around the back or around his right hand side. Right, that was a bad position to be in, but never mind. So yeah, you want to hit that signpost there to climb over it, because it's quicker than going straight to the very top and then climbing down. These trolleys they can be a bit awkward, but what I tend to do is if I just keep Chloe staring in the same position and then just move with the left stick, then it's easier to maneuver. So here there's a little skip that I found, but it's very hard to get. Also can take a while to get. And what it is, there's a climbing part here where when you get to the top, you do a stealth kill on a guard that's standing up there. You can sometimes skip that and jump straight past. And he's not programmed to chase you at all. He can spot you, but he's not programmed to do anything. So you can just carry on going. It puts
Do
you...
you need to restart checkpoint to do it though?
No, actually. I did test that out, and you don't have to. I think it's all to do with when you're climbing up, how he spots you.
Okay.
So this pick lock is programmed so that Nadine always smashes this window. After the second part of the pick lock, she will break the window. If you take too long to do it, Nadine gets impatient. And she'll actually smash the window before you've had a chance to finish the second part of the lock.
It's like walking through an antique shop. He's been a busy boy. How much do you think it's all worth? Enough to keep his little insurrection going for quite some time. I'll just borrow this. Fraser.
So the way I feel about the first two chapters is that they're more...
Not for long.
It's more of a tutorial.
What does that mean? Western Ghats, Hoysala
than
territory.
real gameplay. Just unfortunate you can't skip it.
Then we didn't already know.
So yeah, there's going to be a couple of occasions coming up where we make use of Chloe rolling, and this is on slopes. If you roll at the top of a slope, she actually slides down them a little bit quicker to begin with. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the golden cookie spinning in the bottom right hand corner.
Also, just to clarify, these load screens, if you're not foreign here, they take like 2-3 minutes a time, usually.
Yeah. So I did some testing recently. I had a bit of a problem with my PlayStation. So for a while I'd been getting fast load screens, and compared to other people, I'd say for load screens I only get about 10 to 12 minutes of load screens, but other people seem to get double that. I did have a bit of an issue with my PlayStation recently where the software was crashing as a result of this game actually crashing on one part of my speed run, which I might add was a really good speed run, and I was absolutely gutted. It was right at the end of the game and the entire game crashed. So I had to do a fix on my PlayStation, which meant I ended up with really slow load screens again, but I did manage to get them back to normal. That jump there is a little bit awkward. If you run it at a particular angle, Chloe will always try to fall down and grapple onto the ledge. So yeah, that previous slide you saw me roll at the top, I'm going to do it here, which is actually quite dangerous because she moves so quickly you can actually fall to your death. But if you time it correctly, she will be safe. Also there, if you jump too early for the power line, she will jump to her death as well, which is all so good. Ow. Punch my desk. Always good. Thank you for the good luck, Walking Dad. Just want to give a quick shout out to the Uncharted community as well. They are such a good bunch of people. And if anyone's interested in running these games, by all means come and join the Discord. Drop us all a message, we're all a helpful bunch. So yeah, the more open world portion of the game starts now. We are going to take a set route and try and move as quickly as possible through it. I've also made a slight routing change here at the start of this chapter, something that's a little bit quicker. I'm going to try it, I might fail, but it's only... No, not that.
Oh.
It's here. You jump there, and there. Which is slightly quicker because at that point the game forces you into an animation that jumps you down to that lower ledge, so if you can get the jump early and hit that trigger, then the game will just push you in that direction without you having to position yourself too correctly.
Also, there's driving in this game.
It's a control thing. Sure.
Yeah, there is driving in this game.
And the driving's very broken as well, which you'll see soon.
Yeah, there's a skip that's coming up. I'm not sure how much time it saves.
Like 40 seconds.
Yeah, so we call it the gate skip. Basically, we're going to use this Jeep to clip through a big gate that would otherwise be closed because you need to finish
Refreshing.
the area and kill off the enemy that are there.
Oh, where's the fun in
But
that?
what we're going to do is we're actually going to drive into the first two enemy.
Quite nice to be outdoors, isn't it?
We're going to treat them like
You come back here often? What the heck?
Skittles in a bowling alley.
Oh, look at this.
Antenna hype. Oh,
You can
rock.
see the amazing lock on here as well.
Yeah.
Take cover. Thanks for the heads up.
Can you stop cheating, please? Thanks.
So this game's Explorer mode with its lock-on is a bit overpowered. And you'll see a little bit later on as well that sometimes it's a little bit too good. It can
There's
make...
one specific weapon that locks onto the head every time.
You're off
Yeah.
tired.
So you just insta-headshot them.
Frost is off. Figured you'd be more of a leave no trace type when it comes to Indian runes.
But with the new skip that we use,
Get you killed.
you don't really get to use that gun that much
They're just large
anymore.
flying rodents.
No.
Actually, no, they're not. Yeah, they are. They're closer to
So yeah,
prime.
these mudslides here are really awkward.
There we
You can try and drive them up them a little bit quicker, but if you go too far up the mudslide with it like that, you'll end up going back down. Completely messed that one up. Never mind. There we go. So yeah, prime example,
made it.
you lose control and you slide back down. So yeah, the gate skip is coming up now. Once the load screen goes. Good thing about this load screen is sometimes it bugs out and it will get to around 100% loading, but rather than actually stop at 100% loading, it will go past that point. I think the highest we've seen was with Toxic. I think it went up to Toxic. Was it like 114% or something like that? I'm not sure. Yeah, 116. There you go. Prime example.
Nice.
Not one for subtlety, are you? Not really.
So yeah, this skip's quite fun and annoying at the same time. So you have to line up the car, and the car has to be perfectly
It
straight
actually
to
went
the
to
door.
180.
Oh, did it?
Was this
Yeah.
really your plan?
Oh yeah, I got it on the first go. So that can be really awkward to do. Sometimes Chloe will just bounce. She'll bounce off the front of the Jeep, but not actually clip through the wall, or she'll get stuck through the door. So it is a little bit awkward. And also with this here, Nadine, if you shoot the Jeep, which I should have done really to try and show it off, Nadine will T-pose and she'll be floating above the Jeep as it's coming down the hill. Because this area is technically not loaded in until Nadine has zipped to the Jeep itself.
You'll also see the sky change in a second. It's amazing.
Yeah, so the lighting will change here. I'll show it off. There you go. Look, the world's spinning really quickly. Time has fast forwarded.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for a solve.
But yeah, that skip there that I just did can take...
We won't have
if you keep messing it up, you can lose probably about 30-40 seconds.
It's not too difficult, but
It's not, no, it's not,
every
but it's
time you
just
try it,
awkward.
You have to then set up again,
Yeah.
do it again. That's like 10 seconds of time, so.
Oh, lost control there as well. Always good. So yeah, the next bit that's coming up, there's a gate that we need to attach our cable to pull the gate down. After that point is the notorious Chapter 4 skip, which in a real run, well, I'd say a real run, with the current rules on the leaderboard, I'll be making use of something that is technically banned, so obviously if I do end up having to use this, it wouldn't technically be right, but...
Well, he wouldn't be able to submit it if he got a PV.
Nah. But it will be needed for this to be safer. So these stairs are awkward. To do the jump roll, you need to start jumping and rolling almost instantly. If you time it incorrectly and you press circle without doing the jump rolling, then Chloe will She will let go of the cable. And then you have to run all the way back to the Jeep. Also, at any point you're making use of the cable from the car to pull gates open, if you shuffle left and right in the car whilst you're reversing really quickly, it actually opens the gate quicker. So yeah, this skip is probably the most interesting one out of all of them. Only because of how it works. It's very awkward. If it goes wrong, it'll be unfortunate. But I'll try my best to make sure it don't go wrong.
You did start on a safe file, right?
No, I didn't.
What? Oh, you're going to make 2 here?
Yeah. No, I'm actually going to make 3 to be on the safe side.
So, this skip, you can only try once. If you fail it, you have to load the save file to try it again. But in this game, the save file rolls back the in-game time, so that's why you're not allowed to load a save if you were doing an actual run, because you wouldn't lose any time.
I'm going to overwrite 5 and 6 and create a new one for number 7. This game is semi-broken. There are technically some other out of bounds that you can do, but they don't lead to anything. Because the game restricts you from advancing without hitting certain triggers. Right, here we go. But yeah, what is there of skips? And tech does work. I'm sure there's probably more things to find. I found something accidentally recently. I found that there's another way that you can get out of bounds. But I'd need to find somewhere to test it on. So yeah, what we do is we come to this part of the waterfall for this chapter. And as long as we position ourselves correctly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive underneath. I'm going to angle the camera down slightly. And then adjust it ever so slightly so that Chloe starts swimming up because it's reliant on the camera. And as long as I'm positioned correctly, at the moment, I don't think I am. No, she's swum back down. Right, hang on. Reposition. So, yeah, the reason why this is awkward is because you can get stuck in the wall. And as soon as you get stuck in the wall, that's it. Because even if you can clip through, the collision causes Chloe to fall through the floor. For some reason, it's pushing me back up at the moment. It's been a bit awkward. Yeah, prime example. So there I am, I'm stuck, so I will have to reload, fortunately. So
if you restart checkpoint here, you can't try this again. It won't clip you through.
No.
It only works the first time you get here.
And this is why the run can ultimately fail. So yeah, I'm only creating these saves purely for backup purposes. But yeah, I've found that with the setup that I use, it's reliant on the camera. Other people do it differently compared to me. I have tried other ways, but I don't seem to get much luck with trying it the way that these other people try it, so... Come on. causing me grief today. And I'm stuck again. Fantastic. This is the one downside to doing this run when you start getting stuck like that. This is why chapter 4 skip is notorious. So yeah, originally there was no rule about loading save games for this part, but I mean when you're doing a speed run, it doesn't really make sense because we time via in-game timer rather than real time. So what happened there? This is where the camera is playing games with me as well, because it's not really supposed to be doing what it's doing at the moment. Done it. There we go. So, yeah, we're now completely out of bounds, and now we can actually use this to skip chapter 4 entirely. So Chloe's now going to swim to an area up ahead.
Chapter 4 is very long as well.
It is a very long chapter. That's why the run's technically over. But yeah, sorry that took longer than I'd hoped. But yeah, we do need to be careful up here. So very shortly, the scene's going to change slightly and the background's going to go bright white. At that point, what we need to do is pause the game and allow the water underneath Chloe to load in. You might see her do a few T-poses every now and again as well as we swim over. When you're actually swimming to this point, you have to be careful that you're not too far left, because if you are too far left, some of the world is actually loaded in, and as it's loaded in, you get stuck. Which can obviously ruin the skip at that point. But yeah, you are going to see some aerial swimming. So yeah, the scene's just changed. We're now just going to allow the game to load in the water underneath. There we go. And then what we're going to do, we're going to swim around, and we have to be careful here, because if we hit any rocks or anything like that, anything solid, Chloe will fall to her death. And for some reason, it's not loading anything in. There we go.
Get closer to it.
Ah, right, okay. So, yeah, we're now going to do some aerial swimming. Amazing view. What you want to do is you want to swim over to this tree. I can't believe I'm saying that, even though she's technically flying. And you need to be careful not to hit anything solid before she's got to low enough ground that's at the right position underneath her. You also need to hit a trigger here that changes the lighting. If you don't, the game will crash with a soft lock. And this is where things get a little bit more interesting in terms of skips. So in this area alone, we've got 3 skips to do.
I would say the next one coming is probably the hardest.
Yeah.
The other one that you just did isn't hard, it's just random.
Yeah, because the problem is, I think the problem with it is the camera. If you get pushed up too much, you hit the rock and then you get stuck. Even if you was able to get out from that, you will just fall under the ground and die. And then of course the run then ends because you can't redo the skip. How are they doing this without muscle in their arms? They're goddesses, that's why.
doing great, China.
So yeah, this skip coming up,
Better when we get to the Kron.
it can be painful to do, and it's all thanks to Matt. Matt, do you want to explain?
Doc will see him up there. Why is that?
So
He doesn't have the stones to calm this.
Toxic TT in the chat found a way to grab a rope behind the wall here, and we can use that to basically jump over the rock
Hurry up and climb.
and grab a ledge that we're not meant to be able to do, and it skips basically the entirety of chapter 5 as well. And it skips a massive puzzle. But there's a death barrier on the rock, so if you jump too far to the right, you will die.
Okay. Easy does it.
Yeah,
Also, that can happen.
that can happen. So this is probably the hardest one to perform
Easy does it.
out of all of them.
So basically, what he's trying to do is he's trying to jump onto that top of the rock that's next to him.
Okay.
And if he can do it right, he can roll and get down to the ledge below. There is another way to do this skip, which is probably harder than this way.
Yeah.
Um,
If I can't do this way, then I will
Easy does it.
resort to using it, but... There we go.
there we go.
So yeah, you technically shouldn't be here. You're going to see some weird textures, some unloaded textures. Took a little bit of time, but got there in the end. I usually do end up struggling more than that to do the skip, to be fair. Especially when I'm under pressure, but... Oh. So the next skip is basically what Toxic kind of found. So what you can do is there's a whole climbing scene and a stealth scene up above this area, but we're just going to skip that, go out of bounds and let the area load in.
This gives you a checkpoint. When
It
you
does.
Get this trigger.
Yeah, as soon as the lighting on Chloe changes to darkness, then she you've basically hit a checkpoint trigger, which is technically faster in RTA, only very slightly, and much. Well, I say much faster. It's slightly faster in the in-game timer as well, as a result.
Yeah, so this wouldn't be faster in a real run or RTA run,
No. Well,
but
I mean, it's roughly the same. But it looks good either way. So, we've got the APC skip coming up now. There's 3 ways that you can do this. Actually, there's 4. There's 4 ways you can kind of skip this area. I'm going to try my way first. If it don't work, I'll probably hit a checkpoint anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up Chloe here. I'm going to aim her right. I'm going to jump forward, slide along an invisible wall, and then do the same thing and jump to a ledge that you should be able to grapple onto. There we go. Got it. So as long as I don't mess this up as I'm climbing up, I should be able to climb through this. Yeah, there we go. So these these enemies here, they're only programmed to shoot you. They won't punch you. They won't...
you can just run here, by the way.
Oh yeah, well, I don't know why I'm rolling. Combat speed. So, yeah, we're now out of bounds again. We technically end up at this gate here, but we need to hit the checkpoint trigger here at the gate and then drop down. And this is an area that you would normally hit a cutscene for, but because we haven't done it properly, we're just going to run forward.
That skip doesn't save that much time. It's about. Like,
It doesn't,
20 seconds.
no. But if you do it good, if you do it well like that, then it's still a time save. So this scene, we're going to climb up this wall,
There's a breeze.
and as the truck hits the wall, we're going to restart checkpoint, and then we're going to skip cutscene. And now we've got a little bit of quick time. We're going to have to time some dodges in this fight against Sav. He's the main boss guy. The baddie. The
Proud of yourself?
arsehole.
Yeah.
It kinda is, but not really. because the boobs have kind of stopped now for a while. That was most of the skips of the game already done. A lot of them happen in a short period of time. There's one more skip left, but it's not until later on.
Yeah, it's during chapter 7. Most of it is going to be movement. So yeah, when the prompts come up for holding triangle, you can actually preemptively press the button and it will detect that you've pressed the button. So as long as you're holding it, it will register that input.
Also, there is an accessibility setting where you can mash it, but obviously holding it is a lot faster than having to mash triangle manually.
So in this game, it's much easier to see when a cutscene kicks in that you can skip. There's like moments where there's a split frame of transitioning from normal gameplay to cutscene gameplay. So it makes timing, skipping the cutscenes, much easier.
Can I just say, you were not joking about Asav. I mean,
Matt, I don't know if you want to explain anything about
right?
debug at all.
Pretty sure his glasses are interpretation.
Anything that you've come across, or
Both. But he is smart.
There's a few skips that would work, which I tested with debug mode, but they'd probably be very unreliable to do in a run, just because you'd need new tech to be able to do them. But there is more potential skips you can do if you could find more stuff.
Up here.
But I think for now, most of the stuff that we do is probably what it's going to be. Just because a lot of the areas in this game, there's just no checkpoints till you hit. So you can't actually progress. It's lucky the ones that are here that we've already done work. So
Let's get that thing open.
I am getting good load times, you're right. Walking Dead. I've fixed my loading issues that I had previously based on my findings. So
also there is a little thing that you can do, but it wouldn't be faster at real time. Which is the sliding sections where you slide down hills and stuff.
oh yeah.
You actually move faster if you play the game on crushing. So to save in game time, you can switch to crushing just for that specific slide sections, but it wouldn't be faster RTA.
If you jump from a height in this game, but hold circle as you're landing,
This is what I get for
rather than get a slower animation of Chloe hitting the ground and potentially breaking her legs, she'll
and he's not too far.
she will roll instead.
Glad I thought to pack painkillers.
So at the bottom of this slide, we can actually skip an animation of her rolling into the puddle.
This is a pretty new restart.
Yeah, it is pretty
It
new.
saves about 10 seconds or so.
The next area that's coming up is an APC fight area.
You turn camera assist back on?
No,
Do you usually turn it back on?
no,
Try this way.
Okay.
not until after chapter 7.
Good. Right.
Choose to point out as well with the
I like it.
jump on it, but I'll let you do this first.
What do you mean?
Well, like, camera assist allows you to be able to jump roll without adjusting the camera.
Yeah.
You don't have to move the camera to look where you want to go.
Just trying to find some enemies because they can hide in the tall grass.
The area is also very random because you're meant to use 2 C4s to blow up the trap, but sometimes it won't actually blow up with 2, and we don't know why.
That's bad.
Okay, blow up, nice.
APC's down.
Right, I need to be careful in case I've missed an enemy.
I think there's an enemy there. Yeah.
Yes, listen, we'll never get anywhere with these guys around. Come on.
So yeah, this on normal can be quite difficult.
You need a hand?
But as you can see, I've just...
Oh wow.
What?
Oh,
We're clear.
I thought she was off wandering.
I'd like to point out as well, so the start of this chapter, or this part, we're going to cancel a slowing walker a slower walking animation that Chloe has, literally by holding up and prepping a C4, which helps a fair bit. And I was going to say something else. Wow, my load there was really quick. I usually get a slow load there even with the faster load times, but that was actually pretty good. So yeah, I mean, I look stupid running along holding that like that, but...
What are you doing?
You should be able to start rolling now. Yeah.
That's a good idea. What the hell are they doing?
Coming up is the amazing elephant scene.
Okay.
Well, you literally ride an elephant for like what, 2 minutes,
You don't.
Yeah.
and you can't speed it up or do anything.
Technically, it is sped up at the start because it's in distress,
Don't mind us.
but then it slows down.
What is that? Oh no.
So yeah, we're going to call this elephant Dave.
Hey. It's okay.
Dave's stuck under a pillar.
But I don't think she's
Dave needs help,
Those explosions we heard must have triggered the collapse.
and we're going to give Dave the help he needs.
Easy, girl. Shh, it's okay.
You can't skip the elephant.
Sorry, girl. We're gonna
Doesn't
get you out.
work.
Yeah, it doesn't...
You can actually get past the elephant here and get up in that area normally, but there's an invisible wall blocking you, and even if you do manage to get past that, the area won't load.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We need
You have to
stop.
trigger the elephant.
Stay calm.
Get it to load.
Talking to me or the elephant?
Dave and Dave
Oh,
riding
bad.
Dave. So many Daves. Also, all the guards in this game are called Dave.
He's Dave.
Oh,
The only people that are not called Dave are the main characters.
taking us wherever.
I would have called Minu at the start Dave as well, if she didn't have a name. She would have been known as Dave, but as she's known as Minu, we can't do anything about that.
But
So, yeah,
Minu's a great name.
It is a good name. We're now on a safari. This point here, you can't actually control the elephant at all. You just
You
hold
can.
up. And not that much.
But you can move it slightly.
Yeah, you can move it slightly, but it is on a set path. Developers knew saying Dave was so important that they made sure this was glitch proof. Yeah, this bit will end shortly. There's another little checkpoint restart that we do up ahead as well, that moves you forward slightly, saving at least a few seconds. And elephants do roll jumps.
That would look hilarious.
That would be brilliant. I'm not sure Dave is capable. There we get another little load screen. Got to be careful after this load screen. So what we do, we get the C4 out again, and we use that to move quickly. And did you just snigger?
No.
Okay.
I moved in my chair.
Oh right. Okay. I thought you sniggered a little bit then. If you move too far left, then you'll hit a cutscene with the elephants where you take a picture of them. you can actually restart the checkpoint and it'll put you back in the original position, but it's still a waste of time. I accidentally done it on Thursday.
Oh yeah, you triggered the photo thing.
I don't know how I triggered it. I didn't even think I was close enough. What about blowing up an elephant with C4? Bit harsh.
Or set a giraffe on fire with a Molotov.
Wow.
That's what P-Dub did in Last of Us.
Wow.
Wow.
Animal cruelty. So yeah, I knew that there'd be 1 or 2 points in this game that I'd have some crappy load screens. This is one of them by the looks of it. So yeah, I need to move as right as possible, because if I'm too far to the left, Chloe will go and pet Dave. Yeah, so as soon as they start talking here, can restart checkpoint, and now they're further up the path.
That saves like 2 seconds in game time.
Yeah.
So, do you want me to explain the next?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in the next area, there's a fight, which you can skip. It probably saves like 40 seconds. It's kind of difficult, but if you fail it, then you have to run through the entire fight again to get to the area to try it again.
Hey, upstairs.
But you can basically do the same thing like the chapter 5 thing, where you can grab the rope at a specific point and jump off of it. And when you use the rope, you can jump in the middle of the air, and sometimes you can get a lot more distance and grab ledges you're not meant to be able to get to. And he's going to do that to try and skip this fight.
See how I get on with it. So we trigger the combat speed here.
Yeah, the enemies
just to
can be
help.
annoying here as well, because if they shoot you when you're standing on this ledge, they can push you off.
Yeah.
Which can't. So you have to be fast doing this.
Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, you have to get like the perfect angle on it. I will try to get it. I should be able to.
I think you were. Well, at least from what it looked like, then you might have pressed the rope too late.
Yeah, I think it was.
There.
So yeah, this one's all about timing, unfortunately.
It's still cool to do though. Also, a good thing about this is if you do this skip, you get to keep the combat speed for the next area where you usually wouldn't have it after you do the fight. Also, yeah, the enemies can get in the way and it locks onto them, and then you have to shoot them.
There we go.
There you go.
Second time lucky. So yeah, this puts us in combat speed as well, which is much quicker. It skips an entire fighting section, and the fighting section is really irritating. And what I can do now as well, which I'm going to do, is set my camera back to normal.
There we go. Up this way.
This next area coming up, not really too much to say about the next area. I mean, you have to be careful with movement. In certain places. And I don't know why, but there's 2 enemies in here. You never get to do anything with them.
I think they blow themselves up.
They blow
the explosion. Yeah, the explosion you hear, that's them blowing themselves
Oh,
up.
is it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So up here, what we're going to do, because Nadine is really far away, so after we get to the middle floor tile, we restart checkpoint, because this brings Nadine closer. Because in this room, we're going to go around, there's an artifact in the middle of the room. We have to wait for the prompt to come up for Nadine. As soon as we hit the prompt, then a cutscene will kick in. We just skip that.
A lot of this game is very movement heavy though. It's what costs you a lot of time.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
And I think that's the problem. Also, I don't know why, but I always manage to land on that turtle in there.
I was going to say.
R.I.P. turtle. Twitch playing up, or is it just me?
It's fine for me at the moment.
Here, if you spend too much time underwater, Chloe will drown.
Okay. Come on. It's deep enough.
But during that cutscene there where you're pulling the vines, she doesn't... Conveniently, she can breathe absolutely fine under... Well, I say breathe underwater. She can't breathe underwater, obviously. I mean,
But you can if you're flying in the air.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Thanks for going first, eh?
Also, I
Okay.
should point out as well, when he did the skip in chapter 4 where he was swimming in the air, if he was to swim up above the level of the water that he was in, he would fall. That's why we can't swim up to go really high, because the game still checks the level of water you're meant to be in, and if you go
Yeah.
too high, you'll just fall out. And the same thing with going too low as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Although there's one area, if you skip, if you do that skip, in the pool of water that you are there, you can actually swim infinitely underwater. And if you go far enough down, Nadine doesn't know really where to position herself, so it almost looks like she's on a trampoline. She'll bounce up and down on the screen. It actually looks quite funny. Oh, Walking Dad. Oh, God.
Okay. Easy does it.
Well, that donation total.
What is it?
Water in my ears.
420.69.
Give her a towel.
Nice, man.
My God. Are you seeing this? You know, at this point, I've run out of words. Holy goddamn shit. Let's work.
Yeah, this area is a little bit funny with regards to the jump rolls.
Oh no, there's this place.
When you get out of the
There's
water,
little ledges in the water can stop you
Yeah.
as well.
The magnificent bejeweled
and it's not just that, as soon as you get out of that water, you can't roll. You have to jump first before you can do the jump roll. And then you've got stairs up here where it requires you to
have to find another way.
roll first before you can do the jump roll. It's really weird.
Sometimes as well, on those first set of stairs, you can actually clip through the floor,
Yeah,
Over here,
which happened to me and Warren
yeah.
once each. I don't know why.
And also, if you roll at these stairs here with these wheels, the game pushes you. It pushes you in the opposite direction for some reason.
Pacific.
Lower. Maybe it's because the statue's enormous.
Statue's just giving us a hand there
She's got a king cobra for
with the run.
Oh, Warren, you disappoint me.
That-
Well,
was that
we
bad
lost
timing?
this. Just need to figure out what it is. Ah, there's another crank up ahead.
Technically as well, this area is tied to you doing both of
I'm
these
standing right here.
sides. There's like a switch you have to pull on each side. You have to do both of them to be able to progress in this area, or you could technically skip it. I don't know how you'd manage to skip it, but it would work.
You can actually get under the floor as well, where you need to go later on. You can get
Oh yeah.
down into that area, but you can walk along the path, but it
The
doesn't.
puzzle area doesn't load in.
Yeah, it doesn't load in, so it's requiring a trigger
That was a close one. Nearly destroyed my
before
house.
it will load in.
Wow. I can see my house from here. Yeah.
Do you get a roll down this slide again, or you get a
No,
jump?
I'm not gonna. It don't do anything anyway because there's a ledge.
Oh.
So
Yeah,
you
I
d-
think you have to jump. It's slower to roll
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
because you have to move left and then roll. So it's just
I did.
wasting time.
On one of my runs recently, I jumped down. Oh no, sorry, I rolled down. I ended up on the right hand side of the slide, but I was actually on an invisible ledge. And I don't know how I survived, but I managed to stay on that ledge, even though I was technically floating above it or to the side of it.
Aha. Here we go. Okay, I've got this one.
So in a moment, you're going to see Nadine
Bringing down sheep.
zip across the. Oh no, she might not this time.
That only happens if you're too fast, I think. Or it depends on what she does. Usually, if she's too slow,
This one's like the
once you
trident.
activate that trigger, she'll just warp across the screen.
Yeah, you will see her
It's an hourglass
move into
shakedown.
different places that she technically shouldn't be at, which is also really good.
Oh, shit, here
Like
we
you'll
go.
see one later on.
Come
Amazing. You got the skills. She's a speedrunner.
And now we turn the water on for this side.
That's the side story to this game. You don't realise it, but she's speedrunning with you.
Exactly.
Exactly.
What you don't know is that there's a Naughty Dog employee that's playing alongside you.
Oh. Shall we?
Not very good then, are they?
Ooh,
Is that it? We'll find out in a moment.
that sniper then, Matt? I think that was a snipe.
Have you seen Uncharted 2?
Good point.
That sounds promising.
Yeah.
I'd like to add in Uncharted 4 and in Lost Legacy,
Good eye of
the
shame.
NPCs are actually quite useful in the sense that they do kill enemies
The light is shining on that statue across the way.
and they do help out, but in all of the others, they're absolutely useless. They sit there shooting and they can't hit a thing. Or if they
Elena
do,
Barrow
it's like
Island.
one or two. Yeah, and Elena in Uncharted 1 is an absolute nightmare.
Guess we're not done.
When the Hoysala want to protect something, they don't do it halfway.
So,
Come on.
this section here, if you do it too quickly, there's a trigger that doesn't kick in correctly because Chloe needs to say a particular sentence. If that doesn't happen, then you have to restart checkpoint.
Now we
It doesn't lose any in-game time though, whether you have to
No.
restart or not. Actually, I think it does because it doesn't let you press the triangle prompt on the last thing straight away, but
Ah,
it's not too big of a deal. It's like a few seconds.
But that needs to be positioned correctly, otherwise you waste your
Yeah,
time.
so Chloe says Nadine be a deer. If she doesn't say that and you go, you've messed it up.
thank you.
Yeah, and because Chloe's just said that sentence there, got it, thank you, don't need to restart checkpoint.
Well, shit. This one's
Who
busted.
builds these things? What, this entire area? Clearly people with too much time on their hands.
You got that?
Yes, you say you can press the triangle prompt straight away.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
I had
if
to
you
restart
restart, you
checkpoint,
can't.
yeah, you can't do it. So
Okay,
yeah, this
that did
next
something.
scene's a little bit annoying because you can't really skip it.
No, wait for it.
And the enemies can kind of block you. And I had a bit of a...
Hold still for just a sec.
There is a way to skip the enemy spawns here, but it's really slow and there's no point doing it.
Oh, okay.
It's a cleansing.
I only found it recently, but if you're doing run on question or something, it would be worth it for that, but not for
Yeah.
Explorer.
Get ready. Sit.
yeah, these enemies, I got to the last point before a cutscene kicked in, and one of them decided to punch me off the ledge, which killed me. Which is fantastic because it's the same ledge that you dropped down in the first place. The bad thing about this game with the enemies as well, if they punch you even once and you're in a tight spot, they will keep punching you. You have to retaliate by punching them. Yeah, but I think it's worse in this.
Well, in the other Uncharted games, it kind of forces you into like a fight, which is really annoying. Because if they punch you, it kind of makes you fight them instead of you being able to run away.
Yeah.
Most of the time. But in this game, they can keep punching you and you won't be able to move.
So yeah, this next scene where we're walking very slowly whilst being handcuffed, or having been handcuffed, is the scene we were talking about where you can get to under the map. So in that cutscene, I think...
Once you hit that cutscene, it loads the puzzle room.
Yeah.
Is that not clear? What's that smell?
If you try to do anything here, like if you try to go around the sides of the guards, they hit you, so it slows everything down. And not only that, when you get to the door, sometimes, on a very rare occasion, although it's only happened to me once, you can get in a stun lock with one of the guards, and for some reason he treats you as though you've gone too close to him or gone around the side of him, and he keeps hitting you, and he will knock you back, and you can't go forward. You have to restart checkpoint, but when I remember when I did it, it just kept doing it. And I ended up in a position that I weren't meant to be in and got stuck.
Also, I should point out the prompt for the door is here from the very start. So if you could move faster here and get ahead of them, it would let you press it sooner.
Okay.
More
So the downside is, yeah, because you've got Nadine and Sam in front of you.
Technically, there is a way to get pushed in front of them, but then Sam will move back into place and push you back, and you just can't get ahead. If you can, it's very, very, very specific. So this puzzle's RNG.
But it is actually really
the solution
easy.
is always the same, but the starting position for the things is different every time. So you either lose time or gain time based on where it positions them.
Shiva and Parashurama.
Sometimes you can get really good RNG. And all of the points in which you have to turn are actually in like the best possible position.
I don't know if there's like fixed sets for it. I don't know.
Yeah, look, I've got good RNG.
Yeah, that's really good. That's like the best I've ever seen him. What the heck? Are you cheating?
This is probably the fastest I've ever done this puzzle. In fact, it is the fastest I've ever done that puzzle.
Wait a minute. He's yielding.
They were positioned like pretty much perfectly, with only minor adjustments, so that's always good. The next part of the puzzle is also really easy. I used to get confused with this. I was like, what am I even doing? But the clue is actually in the first puzzle you just done. All you literally have to do is move this statue's arms down to the bottom and then finish.
He yielded.
And that's it. That's that puzzle done. There's actually not really that many puzzles in this game. If you think that light puzzle and that...
You skip all the rest.
Yeah.
There's a few in chapter 4 and there's one in chapter 5. And we skip all of those.
So this area, the first couple of prompts for the pick lock don't work. There's a cutscene needs to kick in, and not only that, if you do find the point in which you have to pick the lock, it will change it on the next one. So it's always random, never in the right place, or should I say, it's never in the same place.
Take a deep
There's a lot of gameplay in this game.
There's
Jump
more
over
than
this
it.
gameplay.
Yeah, there's more in this than it seems like. But I understand what you mean. I'd imagine there'd be a lot more gameplay if we weren't skipping Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. So this bit's a bit awkward. So we swim up here. And we'll have like bits of flooring or debris floating around. Now the downside to this is that you have to change direction at the last moment. Because if you don't, and it hits you, you're dead. And you have to swim up again. You mean normal gameplay? Like gunplay and...
Oh, there's not many fights in this game.
No.
There's an encounter selected, I think there's like 10. And
You skip a
we
lot
only
of them.
do like 3 or 4 of them. But the
Right.
entire last level is all fighting.
Yeah.
You get that.
Oh yeah. There is a lot. Potential for something to go horrendously wrong as well during the last 2-3 chapters, as I experienced last week. Was it last week?
What do you mean the game crashed?
Yeah.
Yeah, the theory is there's a point at the end of the game where you have to jump off of a car onto a train. And if you grab a box as it breaks, it will just crash the game because the game doesn't know what to do because you're technically grabbing an entity that doesn't exist anymore. And it just makes the game crash. That's the theory. But it will go over that when he gets to it.
Also, it's worth pointing out that if you are climbing a hill of some sort, or if there's a slope that you're climbing up, if you're jump rolling, it's faster. And if you're on completely flat ground, which is quite rare, but if the ground's completely flat, jump spamming is actually faster.
You have to like time the jumps perfectly,
Yeah.
so it's not worth it.
Go ahead.
And what Wild said is correct as well. During Chapter 4, there's a lot of sections there that if you are exploring, you do have a number of optional encounters. So there is more gameplay there in that respect. But personally, I just don't feel the need to go and explore in this game at all. But then I'm not a completionist, so to speak.
Holy shit.
Wow, okay.
That's actually really hard to do that.
Yeah.
Doing that rope swing in one go.
Oh, yes. Aha. Holy shit.
There we go.
It's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, because you normally lose momentum there on the swing. This jump can also be pretty hard. You don't angle it correctly because she'll just hit the wall. And then she loses momentum.
Sam! Where are you? Hey, this might do the trick. Holy mother of shit, this is heavy.
Oh, damn, you were joking.
I never joke. Not about anything.
You know, one of you could have just let me borrow your...
So here it's brilliant because for some reason you have to hold triangle. If you don't hold triangle,
Here goes nothing!
so the animation, it shows the same animation, but then right at the last moment, if you haven't held triangle, they do just drop. They do drop that cart or whatever you want to call it, and
You in one piece?
Sam will just fall.
Come on.
It's actually very
We're
funny.
exposed up here.
You know, I feel so much safer with her around.
Nadine, see if there's something up there we can use.
I can do it.
No, we're good. Come on, China, I'll give you a boost.
All right, just trying to be chivalrous.
Just watching me.
Are you going to try and do the rope jump thing?
Oh yeah, I'll probably
After
try it
the
once. Yeah, there's a little trick you can do. Saves about 2 seconds.
Work.
It's quite hard to do. It'd be nice if I can pull it off. If not, It's nothing to worry about. It's not going to lose much
Go
time.
ahead, Sam. Age before beauty.
Oh, you're too kind.
No, she's just worried I'd kick it over and leave you down there.
Rip Sam shades.
How about I scout ahead a little?
I wouldn't really need it.
Yeah, well.
It is deserved.
Sam, see your way forward.
Sorta. We'll definitely need your grappling hooks.
Okie doke. On my way.
Yeah, that scene there is always automatic. You can't get around that.
Okay. You alright? Yeah.
And then you have to wait for Nadine to climb over Sam.
I have a better idea.
No, come on. Hey,
I said don't move.
unbelievable. Hey, ow, ow, ow.
No, for the longest time here, I used to stay on Sam's back and wait for it to let me use the L1 prompt. Or
Oh,
the
really?
Pro prompt. Yeah. I didn't realise if you moved off of him, it comes up instantly.
Might cut through to the tracks.
Get it first try, you mean?
Why don't you go ahead? Leave the rope for me.
This fight coming up is kind of random. Some of the enemies will do whatever they want. Some of them have got set spawns, but most of them will just run around
Yeah.
randomly. You kind of have to find them.
Also, something interesting with here as well. You can get out of bounds here really easy. And it's unfortunate because you can't do anything with it.
Yes, you can swim in the air again.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
But it doesn't lead to anything.
Yeah. Don't stop for you.
There's no checkpoint triggers in this level. It's very strict.
Oh, can't we talk this out?
So most of these enemies here are the same. But at the end of the fight, there'll be some strays left that you have to try and find. So that was
That was
really
actually a
good.
pretty good fight. Probably the fastest
Wow.
I've done that fight.
That was
Nick,
amazing. Well
have a
done.
word?
Thank you very much.
I got you, fam. So the trick coming up here, Warren had this idea of being able to skip
The slide.
using the rope here.
Yeah.
And I tried it and it worked. So what you can do is you can jump on top of the rope, swing, and jump from that to the next slide. It says about a second, maybe two. It's not a lot, but it looks good.
Oh, come on. Whoa.
There we go, got it.
Nice.
Hey.
I
Shouldn't...
honestly think it might be easier than we think because it kind of locks you onto jumping onto it.
Yeah.
But that skips using the rope. It says about 2 seconds.
Is that trip really necessary?
But if you fail it, you lose about
God,
10
well, she's alive. Nadine, she's over
ish.
here.
Are you alright down there?
Yeah, I was fine until Sam made me picture God's balls. Where are you?
By the radio tower. Nadine, do you see way up?
That might be too early.
No, it's definitely not.
Okay.
There.
So yeah, the reason why we restart checkpoint there is because it pushes you up, but it cancels or it skips past the animation that you're waiting for with them with regards to this rope. Because you can't grapple anything. When you get to the top, I will just sit there and wait until the prompt comes up.
Oh, shit.
So
Well,
It says about 15 seconds.
yeah,
Thanks, you too. Well done.
Toxic was the one that sort of looked into that a bit more recently.
Didn't Oven find that?
Possibly, but I think no one was quite sure when it was safe to do. So with this little cart here, what we're going to do, and you're going to see something really amazing with Nadine now. She's
a magician.
She's a magician. So yeah, he's running off to the right, going off in the distance.
Stuck. Lend me a hand?
Bang. He's on the left.
Magic.
Magic.
Maybe she goes around off camping, you don't know.
Yeah, but you could quite clearly see her walking off in the distance to the right, towards where Sam was. So
Also, it's faster to pull this cart backwards instead of pushing it because the animation is different when it crashes into the
yeah,
wall, and also it puts you closer to it.
If you wanted.
Nah, it's alright, you two got it.
Sam nearly ends up a fucking sandwich. Oh my god.
Sam got
Oh,
sandwiched.
maybe there's a way through, though. No, no good.
He was almost a fucking Sam sandwich.
Tall enough to get that lift. Come on, I'll boost you up.
I'll give you a hand.
More the merrier.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. Sure.
Ready when you are.
So yeah, in this room,
Oh shit! Sorry.
so while Sam and everyone are chatting away, as soon as you see the flashlight come on, you can restart checkpoint. It will put you back outside again
Hey, Sam. What do you got?
and in a position ready to go. Sometimes Nadine can get stuck here, and she won't
It won't be high enough on its own.
go around to the other side of the cart to push.
We'll bring the cart over.
So you have to stop moving until she's actually moved into position. And it's the same here as well. As soon as I use the switch and go back onto the cart, sometimes she's in the wrong position and she'll get stuck. And she'll keep running into it.
There we go. Old switcheroo.
She was alright there though.
You two are doing just great down there.
Okay, ready.
You got it.
Also, up here, if you die,
Oh yeah, it puts you all
you
the
have
way
to
back.
do that all over
Yeah.
again, pretty much, and it uses a lot of time.
Alright, come on.
Which is why I need to be careful up here, because there's
So
been
don't
times
do
where
it.
I've, yeah.
I think you died like once.
I literally
Like,
jumped
you need to
off.
jump roll to be fast, but if you jump too far to the left, you can vault over the railing and die, which is not good.
Which, with my luck, has happened a lot. Well, it hasn't happened there, but I've got bad luck. And that kind of thing,
The only Hutch luck is good luck. What do you mean?
you sure about that?
Yes.
I don't know which hutch you're referring to, but... Right, so this area's pretty easy if you know what you're doing.
Tell that to my PB.
So here we're going to stealth for a little bit until we actually shoot an RPG at the helicopter.
Oh, I thought I should point out as well, when you shoot someone, if the hit marker's orange, it means they're dead. If it's white, it means you just hit them.
Yeah. By the way, if you take too long to pick the locks here as well, the helicopter will move off,
Yeah.
making it more difficult.
Also, there's meant to be lock on in this game, but if you try to aim at it too quickly and then shoot too quickly, sometimes it just won't lock onto it. Also, when you're pick locking this, it might look like you're gonna die, but you never do. It stops shooting before you get close to dying.
I had bad RNG on the lock there. Where's the chop? Oh. Thankfully, the chopper didn't go very far. I forget why we restart checkpoint there.
Because it puts you further up the rope.
Ah, right, okay.
It wouldn't be faster RTA, I don't think.
For some reason, though, I've got a load screen.
Literally not loading anything.
So this... The
I'm telling
engine
you,
for this
it's
game...
unloading stuff.
Yeah, the engine for this game... We're not sure how it's really loading the assets in. But what Matt has come to the conclusion with is that a lot of the levels are actually already loaded in. What hasn't loaded in when the bad loads appear for the game is the lighting engine. Because that seems to be the last thing that's loaded in. So...
Because on debug mode, you can actually be able to see the game loading without the black screen.
Yeah.
So you can see what it's loading in. You can also skip the cutscenes by activating the flying mode, which allows you to see the area loading without the load screen as well. And you can see that the only thing that takes a while to load is the lighting. Everything else is already loaded in. So I don't understand why you get these load screens. But
No, to be fair, I can't remember the last time I got a loading screen there at that point. I technically shouldn't have done. It's unfortunate that I did.
maybe there's an off chance that sometimes it starts loading the next chapter prior. That's
Possibly.
why I did it.
Here we go.
So usually you don't even get the load screen at the cutscene either. So
No.
Oh, hi.
Right, so we're just we're punching Dave here. We're going to try and make sure we don't get shot by him. These pink shades. And Dave, the chopper guy, he's now dead. So
why has he got pink sunglasses on?
I don't know.
I like him now.
Yeah, we're not too far from the end of the game now. This is mainly like the train chapters.
Is that the last chapter now?
Is it classed as the last chapter?
It's one chapter. It's just chapter 9.
I thought it was 2.
No. This is start of chapter 9. And the last chapter is a cutscene. It's just the last chapter
right,
is
okay.
after you skip the final cutscene. For some reason, they put the last chapter is just a cutscene. I don't know why.
Anyone see a
So
road
this
here?
driving sequence is a little bit annoying.
Well, keep your eyes on
There's
your
one that's
road.
coming up that's actually quite dangerous
You
in the
wanna
run.
ride?
I mean, kinda.
It's the one that can cause the...
Whoa!
It's very easy to lose a run here.
Yeah.
It's a shame because it's literally the last thing you do. But we can... There's like this train's meant to be a big section
We're gaining on it.
where you have to jump off of the car a lot and replace it, but we can literally skip that entire thing by
Shit, motorbike!
doing a really good driving section to the very end. But the thing is, the car gets set on fire, and
Out of my way.
if you take too long, the car will blow up and you'll die. You have to be quick.
Also, these bike dudes are really annoying.
Ah,
So if they're able to, if they jump on your car, you slow right down. It was wondered whether or not it was placebo, but it's really not. You might every now and again hear a random yeah as someone dies as well, which is always great. It's always louder than all the other sounds from the gunshots, etc.
Get the train!
Sam, take care of the tusk.
Don't you worry. I got it.
there is a little skip you can do here where if you jump on the railing, you can climb on top of the train, and it skips going through it. It saves about a second if you get it first try. If you don't actually get it first try, it's actually slower.
Yeah.
Didn't know you cared. He's got the tusk. Hey, did you catch?
But it allows you to get ahead of
giant crate?
Nadine, which should usually be behind her.
Right, that's our next stop then.
Shit. Nowhere to plant.
Let's try the other
Wow,
side.
what a jump.
Whoa, easy now.
I think here you can do a risky jump to this rope swing that I'm about to use, but it is risky.
Okay, good. Making progress.
Just have to make sure that you don't hit the trigger that forces you into
Oh shit, company's here.
scrabbling along the side of the train.
But we still have the element of surprise.
Also, these enemy here can be a bit annoying as well.
Yeah, if you jump in their vicinity, she'll lock onto them and try to jump on them.
Yeah,
And the enemy placement is random, so it kind of just depends on where they are. Like what here's got really good RNG because none
Yeah.
of them were in his way.
Shit.
so this part that's coming up is fun. So we restart checkpoint here because we're basically getting a jeep in position. It's on the side I don't want it to be. Fantastic.
Thought I'd ask.
I honestly think this happens if you're too fast in the first section.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to drive to a certain part of the train.
So this is where it
Quick
gets
enough.
dangerous. So we're going to drive forward for ages. Now the game expects you to get off every now and again, and either find a new jeep or just move up the train on foot. Technically speaking, the jeep is meant to blow up at a specific point, but we can actually get to a particular checkpoint up ahead. But it is dangerous, really dangerous. If you crash into things like I just did there, or if you get shot too much, you do blow up a little bit sooner. And the notorious box where it tends to crash is here as well. Ooh.
Luckily, she didn't try to jump on
Yeah.
the box. Yeah,
If
those
she did,
boxes, they break.
yeah, if they break and you've jumped on it at the same time as you jumping at them, that's when the game crashes. We also restart checkpoint there because it gets a new jeep in position for us.
Okay, any thoughts on how to get on that truck? Get close enough and we can grapple to it. Are you joking? Let's do this. Nadine! Oh my god!
So this bit, in typical action fashion, Chloe's just, you know, scrambling along a rope with a truck that's doing 90 miles per hour.
Also, this part's kind of random. Depends where you are. Will depend on when the truck spawns to shoot them. And you need to kill all these enemies for the big door to open. I like how he just tried to lock onto that truck behind it through the red door.
He doesn't look happy. Whoa! Did we do that? Yeah, we did. Rot! This truck's on its last legs! We need to bail! Now!
See, I'm not going to lie, the last fight with Asav is quite underwhelming. Really?
Trading the
For a
tusk
boss.
For a bomb? Commandeering a train? Must have taken us off months to plan this. Making it all the sweeter when we
You feel it's
bollocks
better than
them
the
all
Talbot
up.
boss in 3.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Actually, to be fair, all the
I think
bosses
we're
in the
almost there.
Uncharted games are pretty bad.
Why budge? Let me help.
Yeah. The most annoying one was, what's his name in UC4?
Yeah, the sword fight with the Wraith is just
Yeah.
terrible.
Cool.
Like the only boss you actually fight technically with like free reign is Lazarevich in 2.
You go.
All the other ones are basically you have a punch fight to death with QTEs,
That's definitely the
or you
entrance.
just do scripted events to get to the boss. And this one's just a punch fight.
Don't think about what you're doing. Just do it. Come on! This one's
How
worth
much
a
time is
shot
left
too.
in this run? Minutes, isn't it, Matt?
Not long, about 6-7 minutes.
What time are we
something
on? RTO.
like that. 126.
Yeah, right, okay. I'd say it will probably be done in about, what, 4 or 5 minutes?
Depends if it gets a load screen at the end though, because that's a hard meme.
You
Yeah.
boys just can't leave well enough alone.
Also, I know he's probably pointed it out at some point, but we do time this game by the in-game time,
Yeah.
so real time wouldn't matter, but for a marathon, it obviously does.
This is why I made a point of the load screens as well, because I timed it around the fact that I'd fixed my load screens, and when it started going wrong for me
We need to switch the
a few days ago, then I panicked a little bit because I thought, oh god, it would be cutting it fine. It would give me literally no room for error, but thankfully I sorted the problem out, so...
Sam! Sam!
That's really annoying there. If you're going just slightly too fast,
We have to flip the switch.
Chloe goes flying through the
How she
front of the
survives that, I'll
Jeep.
never know.
Yeah, how she survives we'll never know. But
Time for this.
Hey, jackass!
really, that's a nice name.
Clear.
So the reason why I restart checkpoint here as well is because it moves the train closer.
All right, back to the switch.
So this is technically the final part now.
Yeah.
That's it.
QTEs, yeah. They are irritating. I'm not really a fan of them myself. This is
Well, this one isn't QTEs. It's just punching a lot.
punching and dodging a salve. So there is a slight
There's the train.
thing you can do up
How
here
the hell do I get on board?
that's a
Can't
bit
see any
extreme.
bridges
So
or crossings? Well,
with this Jeep, you hit a trigger here that crashes into the train, as you've just seen. But if you drive off at the correct point, you can actually drive on top of the train and you can drive along it for a little bit.
It just looks
That
stupid.
worked.
It looks really weird.
oh my god, the bridge. Shit.
So yeah, we're now going to fight a salve, so we're not too far from the end of the game now. I noticed the sneaky touch of her ass there
Show me how it's
as he
done.
was throwing her.
Get him!
Yes, to lift her somehow.
So yeah, these two are going to go completely ham on him now.
Fight
This
me.
guy's a tank, by the way.
Thought she was supposed to be good, Assault.
Oh,
He kicks you in the face.
yeah. That doesn't happen to me very often.
Don't fight. One should know when they're
She doesn't actually die here.
So-
You technically don't need to hold the button.
You don't need to hold it. This part's really dangerous as well because
Yeah.
sometimes you need to dodge these things. Sometimes she won't drop or climb and you'll just hit them and die. Because she like staggers when they go past and if you time climbing up wrong, come on, let me climb up.
I know. You're not.
He technically did throw her off the train.
War will destabilize.
So this is the final part now. Where you punch him a lot again.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, time will be coming up very shortly, so I'll let you know when that is. Basically, it's time after I've skipped the cutscene after the explosion at the end.
You could do the timer when you show the statistics menu.
Yeah, yeah.
instead. Oh, it doesn't really matter.
It don't
It's just-
matter, but
It doesn't matter.
yeah. I mean, that is technically still the end of the game though, so...
Yeah. Well, no, because the in-game timer still ticks during the credits.
This might be it.
So yeah, you can jump slightly earlier here for the cutscene. It will just jump into the cutscene.
Go, go, go!
That's scary.
Not sure how specific that is, but... So yeah, time will be very shortly. And... time.
Are you getting a I thought you got a load screen then. What?
What? Okay.
Is that a PB?
If it weren't for me using save files, that would have been a PB. Oh my god.
Nice.
Okay. That's really irritating. If I hadn't have used the saves, that would have been a personal best for me. Damn it. That's really frustrating.
Wasn't your run yesterday like 1:14:45 or something?
It was 1:14:46.
Oh.
Damn it. Right. Yeah, thank you very much for allowing me the opportunity to stream on Valuethon. It's been quite a while actually since I've actually done a marathon. Good luck to all the rest of the runners. I can't actually remember what the next run is because I closed the schedule. But
Zombies ate my neighbours.
okay. Enjoy the rest of the runs, guys. Keep donating. It's obviously for a good cause, and I will catch you guys later.